Okay. Hello and welcome everybody to episode 92 of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. I'm your host, spnanon, and I'm here with my usual co-host, Nord. Say hi.
Hello everyone, I'm Nord. I'm available in booster packs now.
And our usual, we usually have a guest, but this is an unusual first-time special guest, a dev that we've probably mentioned a number of times in previous episodes, but never been on before. Kiki Retzorg, apparently with a, I don't know what her real name is, but her username has a nickname. And we're going with Nicole this time. Say hi.
Greetings. Are you receiving me?
Yes. This is a...
Hello!
I don't know what that was, but hello and welcome. Nicole, what have you made for this game?
Let's see. I think I made somebody from this game called, Dunban, Ronpa? I think that's how you pronounce it. She showed up on testing like a while ago. I don't know what the fate of that project has been. I think she might be on the podcast in like a future episode or something like that. And then I also made a final boss from an Earthbound game. That was really weird.
Thank you for adding the first final boss to SPNatI. Let's hope more don't follow.
It's definitely not the first final boss.
Wario was the final boss of Super Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins, so shows what you know, buddy.
Well, in terms of gameplay, I suppose Pot of Greed is also a boss.
We have a bit of a couple... We have a couple short topics today, some fluff, some extraneous topics instead of brand new characters or main roster additions. We'll be talking about those next time, which is what Nicole alluded to. So it's going to be a couple of quick episodes in general, which is good because the last few were going long. Again, this is episode 92. Nicole, you know a bit of Japanese. Do you know any Goro Awase we can make with 92? Kuni? Yasan no Kuni?
Kuni sounds good, but the only thing I know that to mean is a very rude thing to call somebody in Farsi.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Could be the Kunibyo podcast.
Are we making any?
We could pretend.
I don't think Iran has made any anime in a while, so gonna have to pass on the Duolingo Farsi.
That's
Anyway.
right.
As usual, we're going to start things off with the host Shilling corner. I do have stuff to shill. In fact, I've been cooking quite a lot. But the mainly relevant thing to shill will probably be in a future episode when we talk about some upcoming events. There's a whole bunch of stuff cooking up all over the game and in all sorts of ways. So expect great things this summer. Expect a lot of swimsuits, a lot of skin. Nor, do you have anything to shill?
I also have to show the fact that I'm currently doing my best to contribute to the summer event as much as possible. At the time of recording, I've just put Rose up for sponsorship. Don't know if she'll make it to the summer event in time. Here's hoping. And in general, I think this is one of the times of the year most of our general player base looks forward to. I ran a poll on the SPNatI Twitter, and 3-1 people prefer the summer event to the winter event. I don't think it takes a genius to figure out why.
Is it sunny?
People want to fuck in the heat.
That would actually be the worst, though.
That's all I'll say for now. There's a lot coming, and we're just we're cooking up something real good. Cooking up something real good.
Is it chilly?
Nord.
Hello.
The Masquerade, the 2024 Masquerade event, has gone underway since last recording session. You, as a mod, are probably privy to the actual full list of participants and team names in general. That's all we have right now is the mask names, the list of masks. There seem to be quite a lot of them. That's all the information we have so far at the time of this recording. It's pretty early days. no one's really revealed who or what they're working on in any capacity. It's just the names of the masks themselves. So just for fun, unless you have anything else you want to share about the organizational process or how it's gone so far.
We do also have the emotes that people are using to be able to mark off their completed weekly challenges. Although we did tell teams that their emote doesn't have to be related to their character in any way. So those could be accurate, or they could be a false lead. Only time will tell. As we're recording this, it's currently in the second week of the event. The masks will be peeled back in week 4 when people present their characters to the world. I will let you know this little tidbit at this time that there are a couple of reworks, although I would say the majority of people are working on brand new characters. Some of which have been requested for quite a while. And then, of course, you have your Lorbos and Scrimbo Joneses. It was an interesting challenge trying to match people up.
Was that a group effort by the mod team as well as Insidiani?
It was. Shout outs to Insidiani for really taking the initiative to help organize this whole event.
Do you think it's going to go well? Do you think everyone's like there's a lot of participants? You think there's a lot of good teams?
There's a lot of participation already happening. I don't think any team is particularly in trouble, which is obviously good. In the past, I think the tighter deadline of needing the character to be ready, I think a month or so, put a lot of strain on people who became busy unexpectedly. But now that it's over 2 months instead before you even go to testing, I think people are able to chill out a little bit more, and that's helped the general vibe quite a bit.
Yeah, the main thing, as far as I can tell, with this, besides the easier deadlines, the more lenient deadlines, is the fact that previous Masquerades were either fully new characters or reworks only, and here teams have the option to choose what they want to work on. And intrinsic motivation goes a long way in SPNatI work. I'm sure we can all attest to that.
Amen.
So it's good to be as invested as possible. Yeah, it does get you across the finish line eventually. For fun, though, if you'll indulge me, do you have the list of all the team names? Totally devoid of context?
I do, but I think it'll be more fun if I don't reveal anything more, although I will point out that my favorite one is Team He's Pulling His Cock Out.
He's pulling his cock out?
Dude.
That's my favorite, too. For obvious reasons. Can you please read off or post the list of team names real quick?
I believe all of them have been revealed publicly at this point, so sure thing. Team High Hopes, Team Real Men, Team Silver, Team Raisin Eaters, Team Guilty Love, Team Development Hell, Team Heaven or Hell, Team He's Pulling His Cock Out, Team Sun Shower, Team Hammerspace, Team Welcome to Die, and Team Denim Jones and the Bright Yellow Experience.
Watch Development Hell be the only one who actually finishes.
A lot of the challenge was matching veteran developers with an appropriate number of newbies, because a lot of the newcomers generally put down, I would say, fewer ideas of what they would want to work on, and because we wouldn't know them from the community as much, it's a lot harder to gauge. Okay, I know they only put down these 3 franchises, but they have talked a lot about this other franchise.
And how many members roughly does each team have?
3 to 5. We tried to assign a couple of newbies to each team. Most of them have showed up. Some haven't. I do also remember that last time, when I was but a mere newcomer, blindly stumbling my way in at the last minute, I got assigned to Team Lux basically because all the ones I had put down were not viable teams, and then I believe it was Solitaire who just randomly asked me, "Hey, do you know League of Legends?" Okay, good, you're on the Lux team. That was fun.
It really has been that long since the last one, huh?
Can't believe it pays off to know about League of Legends.
Maybe we'll get a new future podcast host from this one. You never know.
It could be you.
So unless there's anything else to say, there will be a whole lot more to say in the coming weeks, in the coming episodes. Stay tuned. But if we're all good on that front, I think it's time to get into the content, which is quite substantial, even though it's not any characters in their entirety. We have, first up, we had Horsecat on a little while ago, maker of all the Pony and Puyo Puyo girls. Again, he's a real actual artist, and had been steadily updating all the model work and all the artwork for the Pony girls. Pretty much all of them he had made, except for Fluttershy, I think. And the last one that hadn't been done yet was Rainbow Dash, the cute, spunky, sporty tomboy with a million butt poses. He is not here this time, but he has finally concluded that project. Not a fun one, I'm sure, because every one of them needed like a complete custom overhaul of their face, and especially the eyes and mouth. You can see just in this comparison, the eye shape is a lot more pronounced. It's a lot more extreme, and they're much bigger and shinier. And everything else is just slightly touched up. I don't know if you have the old version of like the nude model, for instance.
I will go hunting for it.
But yeah, as usual, we'll just talk about each bit of content one by one. Nicole will share her thoughts first as a guest, and then Nord can follow up, and finally me. We've sounded off about Rainbow Dash plenty before. I'm a big fan of her. Probably my favorite of the ponies. I think he was talking about Pinkie Pie last time. That one had just concluded. Or pretty soon before that. And now all of the ponies, I believe, are finished. Except, of course, for, what was it? The Sunset one, whatever her name is. Or Applejack? Is that the main six? Is that the last one?
That's the last one.
She's a silly pony.
I don't know ponies. I only know what Horsecat presents to me. Such as when Rainbow Dash is presenting this to me. In which case, I'm very pleased.
We're missing the Southern Farm Girl pony, basically.
Is that Applejack? I've also heard like a Sunset Shimmer. Is that a minor character?
Sunset Shimmer is like the number 7, and she's specific to the Equestria Girls movies. Yeah, the other 6, there are plenty of their pony selves, the ones who are actual horses, in the television series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Oh my god, there's movies.
There's movies.
Is there one where they like fight the legendary Super Saiyan?
I'm not fully caught up, so...
I think that just kind of happens in the cartoon itself.
Yeah, more or less.
Nicole, what did you think of Rainbow Dash's art update?
So, Rainbow Dash is pretty cool, and by the standards of the game, when her original art was done, she was fairly accurate to the source material. But Horsecat looked at that and said, it's fine, but I just need to make it look more like the source material. It needs to be approximately 1/5 more like the source material. And lo and behold, Rainbow Dash looks like Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony Equestria Girls. She's got those My Little Pony eyes. Her proportions have been made a little taller, skinnier, which I think is more source accurate. I'm a little rusty when it comes to watching my ponies and my humanized ponies. And overall, I think Horse Cat has knocked it out of the park again. Her new eyes are crazy expressive. She's got some really nice stripping poses. Just full of improvements across the board to what I think was already some pretty good work. Rainbow Dash is so cool.
Is she your favorite of the ponies?
No, that'd be Pinkie Pie.
Nord, would you agree?
I think she might be my favorite. Or like she might have been back when I was a MLP enjoyer. It was an interesting show. I never watched Equestria Girls. I can't judge her from that. But I think as she is, she'd probably still be my favorite.
What'd you think of this update?
It was really good. Looking back through the art history, okay, full disclosure, I didn't play with her that much in SPNatI before this art update. Now that I've given her update a go, I think I might play with her just on occasion now because it's a really good update. It's, as Nicole mentioned, it's improved her proportions overall. The face, just the changes to the eyes. I'm always really floored with the custom eye work that Horse Cat puts the effort in for. And it adds so much to her character with every single pose.
Yeah, good character to cover for Pride Month, huh?
Yeah, because she likes women. Supposedly.
Sorry, Nor, did I interrupt you?
Sorry, my train of thought has been completely derailed because I dared to look at her rear pose.
Rookie mistake.
It is a very good pose. And she has it for every stage, which is also very impressive because a lot of people, myself included, skimp out on that sort of thing because effort.
Yeah, I want to do that kind of thing, but it's a pretty low priority. He didn't even change it. It was good enough in the first place. He just pasted the old or the new head on top of the
and that's all it
original.
That's all it needed,
Yeah.
really. I don't have any problems with this. The fact that she, as she says, ponies up when she finishes. Interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, even that was in the original version. I don't think anything mechanically has really changed here. It's pretty recognizable as the old project besides the new look. Did her epilogue get updated? I didn't get a chance to check it out. I know people really like that epilogue because it's like an orgy. You know, it probably takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it did get updated. I think it's been progressively getting updated every time one of the other ponies gets updated. The only one who's missing out from an update is the Applejack model and the Sunset Shimmer model, which is not really a priority for him, I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a forbidden waifu at this point. Reminds me of that fun little stretch where Yuri from DDLC just was never in the game. Nobody could get her there. It was just a forever incomplete. It is kind of funny though to I like Rainbow Dash as a character, like this version of her, what's been presented at least, what I know of her. I do agree though that I probably didn't play with her that much because she feels like one of those characters that only gets played with all our other franchise mates because she has so many of them. Like you can fill out an entire table, so people probably experiment less.
Yeah, and her epilogue directly encourages you to sort of gravitate towards that because you need 4 MLP characters.
There's probably a very significant slice of the player base who says, plays with all 4 Doki girls, asterisk 5. But because of that, they don't really try anybody else out because they don't have to. Which is kind of a reason I don't like getting too many franchise mates, but you can't really knock them for the kind of effort that it takes to put that in. And if one guy is going to be making nearly all of them, at least he did a very good job.
Yeah.
So basically, everything I have to say about Rainbow Dash is stuff I would have said about the original in the first place, because this is pretty much just a straight upgrade in all regards. He did make her a little flatter, which is a bold choice. I respect it. He gave her some sauce with the big kind of diffuse nipples. I can respect, but she really just does have mosquito bites at this point.
But we're not talking about Mosky this episode.
No. Yeah. I was going to praise her tight fit body, but even that seems to have been present in the old one. I mean, at least she's got kind of taller, slender proportions now. Which is good. Great detailing. Love the big eyes. Love the expressions they can give. But for her angry pose, maybe it's annoyed. Oh no, it is angry.
It's angry, yeah.
I think, and like other poses like this, I think they could be narrowed a little bit more. Maybe that's just how they look in the source material. I think you could go a little bit further with that. And also during her forfeits, she like went back and forth between kneeling and sitting. I'm very sitting pilled. I recommend that for all characters, except for male ones, of course. I really just don't think anyone or any female character should kneel ever. Especially if you're going to go back and forth like that. I mean, at least she's sitting half the time, but it's just really weird. Like, why would she stand up and then sit and then... I guess I'm guilty of that a little bit with all the custom doggy poses I made or whatever, but I don't know, you got to lean into it in that case, like she's taking a break. Anyway.
Another update like this is a good chance to just really, like, even if nothing changes that much, it's a good excuse really to play with a character again and see, yeah, they still work perfectly fine. And having this update just makes them that little bit better.
The first thing I wrote, the first note I have was immediate flex, which is that she pretty much busted out that fully clothed butt pose on like turn 1 of the game, and it's like, okay, slow down, buddy. And that was funny because I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I wrote, is that immediate flex when I first played with her. Anyway, good stuff from Horsecat as usual. Anything else to say about her?
More tomboys, please. Waiter, more tomboys, please.
Yes, a win for Tomboy Nation is a win for everybody.
Grade A clopping material. Horsecat always delivers.
It's all the cuteness of a cute girl without the dumb, boring girl shit that no one cares about. So, speaking of dumb, boring girl shit that no one cares about, Nord, you made an epilogue with 2 girls. One who talks about shit that no one cares about, and one who's very dignified. And you smushed your dollies together, and you just made them kiss. Well, because they share a name. Can you tell us what that's all about?
Yes, I can. So, with collaborative help by my mans, I have made an epilogue featuring both Aquas.
To what extent is this just a meme?
It's not really even a meme. So to delve into this a little bit, they have a few bits of like combined fan art together. Some of them with a Fire Emblem character whose Japanese name is Aqua as well. But it's usually of the like no dialogue variety. So it doesn't really lend itself to exploring how do these two bounce off of each other. My mans and I did a whole, like, full set of dialogue between the two of them in SPNatI, and that usually... I'm so guilty of this, where, like, that usually leads into a dual forfeit. But we both sort of mutually agreed that wouldn't really make sense for Aqua Konosuba. Like, she's probably not going to get one with anyone. But we very quickly came up with an idea of like, okay, well, what if Aqua from Kingdom Hearts helped her on a quest, and then they like shared a room together, and then one thing leads to another. And so we very quickly worked out the script for the epilogue, and then a lot of this was just me throwing my head into the fire trying to get the epilogue to work.
What wasn't working?
Literally just the mental roadblock of working on a big, complicated epilogue like this.
Okay.
I have a love-hate relationship with epilogues, to be honest. I love having them as the end result, but making them is
you
like...
put out the majority of them in recent times.
It's a chance to tell a story, like a coherent narrative that can't be interrupted by random game events.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to as well, but it is just a whole different process than everything else, unfortunately. So before we give our thoughts, is there anything else you want to say about like how it came out or what you thought of the scenario?
I did scale some of the scenes back a little bit just because I found like some angles that work in your head don't work in the like cursed flat 2D isekai art style.
Like what?
Like just dynamic camera angles and 3/4 views. Like very quickly you have to be like, okay, no, I'm not hand drawing these characters in a way I've never done before. Outside of
Why do you think that these epilogues, I haven't even started them yet a year later? Because that's what I've been drawing.
outside of that, I do want to acknowledge that I did get a little bit of pushback for making an epilogue that doesn't involve the player at all. And my general response to that is just me adding this doesn't take away from all the other content I already added for Aqua Kingdom Hearts and all the content my mans has added to Aqua Konosuba. Doesn't take that away. It just adds something new for if you want to see these two characters smooch each other. And I feel like I feel like part of that is just like jealousy, maybe. Like you wish you were one of the two Aquas. I don't know. I could ramble about that without making a coherent point for ages.
Incel-ish behavior.
No, I wouldn't go that
Well,
far.
Should have been a goddess or a Keyblade master, man.
Yeah. Real issue, honestly.
It's funny to like the types that like hate women and like are simultaneously intimidated by them. It's like that's not very manly.
But yes, please give me your honest thoughts.
Yes, please do, Nicole.
All right.
What do you think of the epilogue?
Well, I'm gonna say, while this is still fresh, not involving the player at all, based as hell. The player
Okay, I wouldn't
can't.
go that far.
I mean, the player doesn't talk. The player, has this very limited characterization, and POV sex is, it's great and all, but by choosing not to involve the player, I think you're able to deliver a very striking script here. And I do think that opening scene where it's just Konosuba, it's just anime Seinfeld, is incredible.
You can thank my mans for writing most of that.
All right, good job, my mans. Good shit. Yeah, I mean, it's like I'm watching an episode of Konosuba. God's blessing on this. I don't remember the rest of the subtitle. Darkness is a huge perv. Megaman loves her meme build. Kazuma accidentally references how he can't stop dying. Just a lot of laughs. SPNatI writers don't get to flex their non-sexual writing skills too often. Like even in, like, you can write non-sexual comedic dialogue, like in the game, like intended maybe for the earlier parts of it. But there's always going to be that little the little detail of there could be somebody who is very naked hanging over you, unless you're really diligent with your conditions. I love the fake out with Aqua at the start, where Kazuma pays Aqua a compliment, and it looks like Aqua's finally moving up in the world, but no, he didn't mean Aqua, he meant Aqua. Like, come on. I love the dynamic moving, the panning effects, or the speech bubbles that like pop up mid-slide. Oh, looks so nice. Though I will say it does make the hard cuts look not as great in comparison. But that's that's suffering from success.
I noticed
And-
that as well. Sometimes it pans, but sometimes it just snaps, even in the middle of the same scene.
Yeah, and you know, you can't tilt the camera 30 degrees to to sell a hard cut like that. So again, I'm sure like epilogues have like been doing that all the time. It's it suffering from success. And the scene where they actually do get down and dirty, pretty good too. Lady Aqua's drunk dialogue is, very convincing. I love how she slurs her speech. I love seeing women kissing. It's Pride Month, baby. I love seeing women kissing.
Happy Pride Month, everybody.
Yeah. I like it when Aqua.
This might come out in July.
I like it when Aqua flips the script and doms Aqua after the initial sex. Just that tone in her voice. Oh, please. And I will say, I think cutting to off-screen sex, very respectable. Quality over quantity, and I believe that the average player who would be reading this epilogue with a number of hands less than 2 only has so much sexual stamina, So, my TLDR thoughts on this: very funny Konosuba fanfiction with cool lesbian sex. I'm glad we finally learn if water is wet.
Okay, so I mostly just have a couple like small notes and nitpicks on this. I noticed some subtle model flexes, updated model flexes, like a Cosmo. Like his model is newer than the one that's in the game. I think that might be the case with Darkness. I haven't seen her in a while. Luckily, Wibbly has actually returned. We can expect some Darkness updates soon, if it hasn't happened already. I'm not sure if that might be the same model. Just haven't seen it.
I think this model of Darkness is already in the game, but yes, I did just make a new Kazuma model for this. As partially because his current SPNatI art was kind of for one, I didn't have the model codes, so in the first version of the epilogue, I had to use what poses he already had, and I had to make use of his stripping poses for just a neutral expression of disappointment. So then I realized, I need to make it look at least as good as Aqua and Darkness.
I thought it was funny. I'm not sure if there's any other epilogue where the characters actually get drunk in order to fuck. I'm assuming you did that for Aqua of Kingdom Hearts' sake, because she seems a little too duty bound otherwise.
My buds and I sort of came up with that as a reason for both of them to have lowered inhibitions and just get into it. We tried to make it clear through the dialogue that Aqua Konosuba gets a lot more drunk a lot quicker, but she's still coherent, but she is very much drinking most of the wine.
There was no wine in the glasses, I noticed. Fix that.
That's a reference to video games where they don't fill up the glasses with liquid.
I thought they drank it all.
Totally,
Okay.
totally.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to do a little time lapse of Aqua drinking, or a Konosuba Aqua drinking 3 glasses for every one of Kingdom Hearts or something like. Yeah.
No.
Anyway.
That's just me being lazy.
I also noticed that when they were talking to each other, they were facing forward instead of giving side eye that a lot of characters do. That's just a stylistic thing. I would have had them actually look at each other. And I think it would have benefited from some close-ups, some insert shots, some insets. But other than the camera thing, that's basically it. Just nitpicks. And also, there's a white flash for coming when Aqua Kingdom Hearts came, I think. And you could do a little bit more than that. Some of the squash and stretch with her body. I don't know why people go up for the flash. You don't want to skip over the best part. With Konosuba Aqua, when it was her turn, it was a fade to turquoise or so. So that was funny. I was expecting like a water geyser to come out of her. Those are my thoughts, though. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's all fair and valid.
Nicole?
I like the little bubbles with the Konosuba characters at that ending scene where Yun just comes in and just chaos is wreaked.
Oh yeah, I had one more thing to say actually. That dialogue at the beginning when they're all talking. I don't know what Konosuba was written like. That did seem a little like fan fiction-y to me. Just because like it's like, oh hey, what do you think? What do you think of that, Megamine? I think it'll help me pull off more explosions.
No,
Stuff like
that is what she is like. Trust me.
really just always.
Like the same with Darkness's whole thing. The Konosuba cast isn't particularly deep all the time.
Okay.
Konosuba's like
that's
that.
all I had to say. I mean, you know better than me. But well, I'll end by saying the player will return in Maya and Juro's epilogues. And hey, do you want POV sex? Do you want the player to be involved in an epilogue? Well, congratulations, because now Dunban has an epilogue where you're the female character and he fucks you. Right in the pussy. Also made by Nord. Nord, please explain how this happened. Apparently you asked around, you asked female users, you asked 4chan of all places. Why?
I did. So there was a 4chan thread up, might still be up at the time of recording, where like
it's still up.
So some potential feminons expressed dissatisfaction with like women don't really get anything in terms of like male character content. And so I just anonymously asked, what would you want to see? And then they just straight up told me, and I was like, yeah, I can do that. And so I made this one. It was an interesting challenge. I think I already know what one of Nicole's critiques is going to be, because she told me before, and it's that the angle of trying to get the player into shot is a little wonky. I couldn't really.
First of its kind.
I couldn't really think of a better way to do it with what I had available to me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, from the people that have played it and said, like, from what people have told me and what I've seen on the 4chan thread since I released it, it's gone down well.
Gone in well, even.
Yeah.
I tried my best to make it like romantic. Like it's not super long, but I did try to make it a bit sensual, a bit romantic. You know, instead of just sound of two metal pipes clanging together immediately.
Nicole, what did you think?
Oh man, I cannot believe the timing of having me on this episode in particular, because female POV epilogues, like even ones where it's like there's a male and a female version, those are on the IUCN red list. And somehow you got me on with the episode with one of them, and also the episode where the epilogue where it doesn't matter what your gender is because you're not there. Dunban is a real charmer in this one, and I think that the length
and the girth
of the epilogue is great. It's a good length. It's a good girth. There's unprotected hand holding in this. Oh my gosh.
The stuff people let me get away with these days.
Nor does Dunban know that I want to keep it. He's an RPG hero. I don't think paying for child support is going to be too much of a problem for him.
No, he'll have millions of gold by the end. It's fine.
Yeah, I want someone to remember that nice hand holding by. But yeah, just the way this is introduced, fantastic. Just seeing the player character take off that towel and the absolute hunger in this man's eyes, held on only by a chain of chivalry, wanting to lash out like a beast, like a beast in the hot spring. And then it does with the power of consenting adults. One of my few critiques of this, other than the silly angle, is I do think the parenthetical yeses were a bit silly on the topic of consent, kind of goofy. IMO, I think that you can imply that, by playing with Dunban's epilogue, if the player wasn't consenting to it, they'd probably X out of it. It's like, I totally understand, why it's there. I think very, very good faith to, have it there. Yeah, just a little bit, immersion impeding, but nothing terrible. I think this whole epilogue, very nice experience. And I like how he takes you out to dinner after. His order of operations is wrong, but he knows how to be a gentleman. And I believe this takes the number of het female POV epilogues up from 0 to 1. Is that right?
I think it's technically from 1
There
to
may
2.
be very old ones like Captain Falcon or something.
No, there's the
yeah.
Astolfo Bean plush one
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
that works if you're a woman as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that one's really based. It's the Astolfo Bean plushie that sucks your dick and calls you gay, not the Astolfo Bean plushie that sucks your dick and discriminates based on gender.
So this is very much not my hole. This was not made for me. That said, Nord, you are not famously bisexual, but bisexual. If I had to guess, you seem to have a thing for Jesus types in men. There's Dunban, who looks vaguely Jesus-ish. Also, that guy Gale from Baldur's Gate 3. Also, your player character looks like a discount Gale.
Jesus-ish? What?
It looks kind of like Jesus. That seems to be your type.
And he talks like a gentleman.
My question to you is, did you actually get something out of this female POV, or is this just your attempt at community service?
I mean, I'm able to, like, I can take a step back in fantasies and sort of be like, yeah, like, I don't have to be one of the participants. Like, I can, like, for example, I prefer shipping canon couples together rather than self-inserting as one of the members of the canon couple, male or female. So, like, I did enjoy making this, even though, like, I'm a dude and I have always identified as such. So, like, in the strictest sense, it's not made for me. But I did enjoy making it, and I think the content is
fair, and I think it shows.
The content is obviously in the realm of what I enjoy seeing or would like to see more of in general.
I mean, he's a good guy. He's suave, but he's straightforward in what he wants. He doesn't try to trick you or anything. He's just like, yeah, you wanna do it. He does have a bit of like the milady vibes going on, like kissing your hand and everything. But that is kind of the character and setting that he's from. So it makes sense, and he's handsome, so it works when he does it.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Just be hot. I did think the female POV's pussy was kind of fat. I thought that was funny. Like not the body, but like I wrote fat pussy. That was one of my notes. Because it's just a funny word. and good squash and stretch on that as well. Good steam effect in the area itself. Very simple epilogue. It was conflict free, which some of the epilogues you made are. I just thought it was kind of funny. Like you don't need to tell really a story with like some kind of like build up and resolution. Like the male climax pretty much does that on its own. Was there any kind of like Xenoblade connection or reference in this besides Dunban himself? It's like, do you hang out in hot springs in the game?
No, not really. It's quite detached from Xenoblade in general. It's just sort of a hot springs are a very good generic setting. It's like you can make it work with almost any character. Well,
to intrude on your personal life even more, last thing I wrote here is that the female POV rubs her clit a little bit while he's inside her. Is that something that you like to see? Is that a personal preference of yours? I'm just psychoanalyzing you.
It's a personal preference of mine as far as like it's more accurate and therefore like I think works better, especially given who the target audience is meant to be.
I just like what do you mean like more accurate? Like most of them do it?
I mean, I think that's generally like the way to do it for like the woman to actually enjoy it.
Well, let's see. That's all.
I feel like you're doubting me here.
Well, you're free to believe whatever you want. No, it's less that, and it's more like it's a conscious choice that you have to make, which I find interesting because in epilogues like this, like any kind of storytelling, you kind of see what the creator themselves is into. It's not something that's often depicted, so if you go out of your way to do it, it's like, oh, I wonder what was the motivation for that.
I suppose that makes sense. It's just me trying to be conscious of what like female anons and female community members have told me over the years here about like
was that recommended to you as well?
It was recommended as far back as like me posing my characters for the first time, and so like it's always been made a big deal of, and so I guess just it's become something I'm just subconsciously attuned to now.
Oh yeah, well I mean like when they're masturbating that makes sense, but I mean specifically like during penetration, that's like a whole other thing.
I support the female orgasm.
Okay.
Happy Pride Month. We have straight representation.
That's actually going to do it for episode 92 in total. And art updates, epilogues galore, Masquerade, and summer events, they're coming next. Nicole, Nord, do you have anything else you want to add?
I'm probably in the Masquerade.
I'm sorry that you were.
And Nord can't say.
Nord has nothing to add?
Nord can't say anything about that because he knows the answer.
Listen, I'm glad you're getting along well in Toho Team number 17.
This is where I would make the Toho death sound effect if I knew how to make that sound with my mouth. I'm currently fighting off a ransomware infection on my backup Windows PC. So it's very serendipitous that I'd be assigned to work on them right now.
That was me. I did that. It was to get you to focus on this podcast. And cut. Okay.
All right.
Hypothetically, how would you react if one of the Masquerade teams was making a Vandred character?
Let's say, hypothetically, just for the sake of argument. I don't know, I guess it depends on what the character is.
Imagine it's just the absolute worst pick you can think of. But you have like 6 developers behind it and be like, no, we'll do it right, trust me.
The absolute worst pick I could think of would probably be the baby.
Okay, not the baby. What about
I've changed their premise so that other characters could show up, so it's not as big of a deal anymore. I just have to write some lines to them, I guess. I don't know what you're trying to tell me with this.
Nothing.
Cool. I guess it's not going to make it into the episode, But the reason I thought the whole like player rubbing her clit thing during penetration thing was funny because you mentioned 4chan, and there is I mean, obviously you would think so. I mean, there is a subset of like incel types on 4chan who get their egos actually bruised by that kind of thing.
Well, good thing Dunban's not a 4chaner. Not a 4chan incel.
I figured if I went any further with that, it would just be dragging the episode out. So
Sorry, I just don't really have a response. It's just like, yeah, I did that.
well, that was my question. Like, was it recommended to you, or do you like seeing it?
Both. Also, I just want to highlight this second response I got where I can just feel the frustration coming through. Like, goddamn. And that like those two comments honestly just set the direction for the whole thing, because like I gave a premise and they were like, yes,